Awesome. Welcome everybody. We are here to talk about a few crazy stories with this new technology. I think mine's in the kitchen. I was charging some water with it. But John, you've got that device behind you on the table. And so we're just going to share some testimonials of what it's done for people, because the product seems to work very quickly for people and sometimes pretty dramatically. John, briefly, what was going on with you? How long have you had the device? What's been your experience so far?
Yeah, I've had the device about 3 days, and my blood pressure has been chronically high. Ran a pulse device on me to baseline where my blood pressure was.
Yeah.
And the some protocols with the iTeraCare over myself, and about 15-20 minutes retook my pulse and systolic pressures and so forth, and they had dropped about 10-12 points.
Nice.
I thought that was pretty significant in 15-20 minutes of using this device without having to take any kind of medicines and so forth. So the next day I thought, well, let's see if this continues. So I measured my blood pressure and ran the iTeraCare, and
how long did you run it for?
Again, about 15-20 minutes.
Okay, cool.
And had some other wonderful experiences with it, but I primarily was looking to measure my blood pressure.
Yeah.
Because it's measurable, and I thought that'd be very significant. And the second day I ran it, ran the pulse and recording, and again, it had dropped 15 points this time. And I said, okay, this is, I like this a lot, because it shows me that I may be able to wean myself off of prescribed medicines and so forth, and be able to naturally get my blood pressure in a good place.
Awesome. I'm going to get my mom on this. I mean, that's the only thing she occasionally deals with, high blood pressure. Well, thank you so much for sharing, John. I'm going to pause it and we'll line up the next person. Awesome. And now I've got my friend Ricky. What do you go by?
Ricky.
Ricky. Awesome. So you're the actually one who introduced it to me. I'm like, cool. I'm a sucker for gadgets and whatever. Yes, I'll try it. Right. And man, you've been doing this a little longer and have quite a few stories. I'd love to hear super briefly some of the more impactful stories you're running into, because I think you're having a lot of fun sharing this with people, aren't you? And some of your own stories too.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah. What happened to me was I tried it 3 weeks ago, yesterday. And before I tried it, I was like a little skeptical and stuff like that. And anyway, my sponsor, William, got me to use it, twisted my arm a little bit. And my first session was like crazy. After my first session, I feel like something shifted and something changed in my life. I don't know what it was exactly.
You almost said it felt like light was shining through you. How would you even describe it?
Well, I sat down and I did the session on myself. And then it was like 40 minutes. I did the whole thing for 40 minutes. And then I went and laid down. And then all I could say is I felt like there was like my cells were swimming, And then I got up like in 5 minutes, and I sat on the couch, and I felt like my whole body was like somebody turned the light switch back on, And then I felt my whole body radiating with this light. And then I felt like the light outside and the light inside was no separation. I don't know what it was. It was just like this amazing thing.
That's pretty trippy.
It was amazing. And then I found out that this terahertz frequency is actually a frequency of light. So it makes a tremendous amount of sense. Anyway, so the next
quick question for you. You are not a newbie to natural health stuff, are you? I mean, you're a natural health practitioner. And in fact, I know we know each other from selling this other super cool frequency device. So have tons of experience with frequency devices. Now you're a reflexologist, or what do you?
Acupuncturist.
An acupuncturist. Okay, interesting. Awesome.
Yeah, I've been an acupuncturist since 1994.
Super cool. What other, besides like being enlightened, I guess literally. Right.
Well, I tell you, man, I tell you, I've been using this super cool frequency device for a long time.
Yeah.
And I started this amazing thing, and something shifted in me. I don't know what to say. I mean, maybe this was a lead up to this. I'm not sure, but something shifted in me and something changed. The next morning, I woke up with like 85% less pain in my lower back and my right hip, and that was years. I was waking up in the morning with kind of like feeling like it was really hard to get going and stuff like that. But this, like, I was like jumped out of bed, you know, and that was 3 weeks ago. And then I also noticed that my circulation in my legs were much warmer. My legs down, I noticed my circulation was much warmer. I also noticed that some issues with the urination flow dramatically improved within a day or two.
Nice.
And
So
I did a lot of,
are you urinating less frequently, or when urinating, it's easier to start and stop it? You're breaking us a bit. We might have to go to the next person. Awesome, Steve. Well, nice to meet you. I'm Steve too. I always love that. Makes it easier. So you're the best team in the world. You're in the middle of a snowstorm in Chicago, but you paused to kind of share with us what's going on with you. What have you experienced?
Life changing. I'm 43, but I feel like I'm 20 to 30 years younger. I've been using it for like 1 week, 7 days.
1 week.
Started, yes. I the first day I used it, 30 minutes. I could sit on the floor and get off the floor like fast, like really quick. And before that, like around Christmas, my little nieces would come over last year, and I'd help them open gifts and stuff. And to get off the floor was a struggle. It'd take me 10 or 15 minutes to get off the floor with all kinds of pain. And I just feel amazed. I'm blown away by it. And now, I mean, I can touch my toes. I haven't been able to touch my toes like sitting down and put my legs in front of me and grabbing my toes. I haven't been able to do that since like high school or my early 20s. It's been that long, and I feel amazing.
Yeah, well, you sound pretty excited about it. Anything, but not that that's not nothing, but anything else you've experienced?
I overall, my whole body just feels amazing. I just, I don't know. I feel amazing, man. And I've been telling everybody, I drive for Uber, and I have 2 passengers buying them, strangers that I have the one with you, and I show them, I tell them all about it. And these 2 women, they're like, oh, well, what's your information? And then we've been texting back and forth, and I'm gonna go do it. I do treatments. I drive around to people's houses and do treatments and give them a 30-minute treatment. And then after the treatment, they're like, I want to buy one of these. These are awesome. It's so easy. This is not a hard sell at all.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Steve. That's awesome. I love your story.
Thanks.
All right, we're back with Ricky, who's hopefully got a better on Wi-Fi now.
Yeah.
We're talking briefly about urination, and I think it cut off on, because that's a big issue. I know it's a huge issue for my dad, because it interrupts his sleep and everything, because he's got to get up and urinate. What specifically, what happened for you?
Well, yes, it was definitely the flow of the urination dramatically improved. So that was the biggest thing for me. I felt like the flow was when I was like 25 years old, 30 years old, whatever. So it was more fuller, stronger flow of urination. I know that's kind of personal, but yeah, that really, and that was like I believe it has to do. I did a lot of work shooting the wand up around my prostate area.
Yeah. So since you got personal already, any other personal results to share in that area?
Well, it definitely increases in the bedroom. Something definitely shifted in that area. Nice. So I don't want to get too personal, but I will say
that's, people know what you mean. Awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me, you had a friend who had all of a sudden calling up and reciting the alphabet to you.
Yeah,
totally.
This totally blew my mind. I mean, this is why I do this. This is why I've recruited 34 people, and this is why I've gone out there and shared this with the entire world. This guy I've known for 4 years, and he had a stroke 4 years ago. And he normally calls me up. I do a call with Madison and other people, and when I talk to him on the phone, he's not able to communicate. He lost his speech, and it's usually, he says 1 word and 2 words, and then he gets all mumbled up, and he stops, and he's like, says stroke, And I'm just like, he calls me up like 6 days after using it. He was using it a half hour a day in the morning on his head and a half hour at night on his head. And he called me up. I mean, I'm like freaking falling off my chair. He says, "Hi, Ricky, what's going on? How you doing today?" And he left me a voicemail today that said, hey, Ricky, how you doing today? What's going on? And I'm like, this is crazy, you know? And he said, listen to me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And he's repeating the alphabet to me. And I'm like, this is crazy, man. I mean, last time he called me up, he was like, Ricky, or you. And I'm just like shocked that this is even possible. I mean, you know, and I talked to him this morning, and he wants to share a story, but he wants to give it like another week, you know, but everybody he's talking
as if that's not good enough yet.
I know, it's crazy. And every day people call me up and they're like, well, thank you for sharing it with this person who shared it with this person. My pain's gone in my shoulder. Or my friend John Bolus calls me up and he says, he's 88 years old. He got rid of his pain really fast in his leg. And he says, it's crazy, man. I got this one that wants 4, another one that wants 3. He says, this is unbelievable. I can't believe it. You know, the results. Another guy called me up from Hawaii. This guy called me up from Hawaii. I got the message on my recorder. It's crazy. He leaves a message on my machine. He says, hey, Ricky, this is Alan. Listen, this machine is really incredible. This technology is mind-blowing. I got it yesterday. I used it on myself last night, and I used it for 6 minutes on the bottom of my feet. And after I finished using it, I actually walked down my hallway, and it was the first time I could feel the floor in 10 years.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is crazy. So I call him back the next day. I say, Alan, what's going on? He says, it's crazy, man. I woke up this morning and my feet actually felt the coldness of the floor for the first time in 10 years.
Wow.
And whoa. And the stories of pain, neuropathy, and everything. It's just like,
and this is like, what, in like 3 weeks?
In 3 weeks. I started this thing like tomorrow will be 3 weeks since I sponsored my first person.
Wow. That's
and I
awesome.
personally like 34, 35 people. I have like 350 people in my group already. And it's just like, it's crazy.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And thank you for telling me about it, because I think it's going to do some amazing things for people. Awesome.
I know.
Welcome, Theresa. Where are you from?
I'm from Kentucky, but I got a South Carolina hat on.
All righty, there you go. I just moved from South Carolina. Well, tell us briefly kind of what's happened to you.
Well, I know Ricky B.
Yeah.
From the old days, and he shared the product with me. I do quantum biofeedback, so it enhances my sessions with clients.
Awesome.
Yeah. I have a stand for it, you know, because I'm working behind a computer all the time.
Yeah.
And I just let the thing blow on me. I hit it on acupuncture points, and I know how to do this. I don't make any claims, but it works.
Nice. So you're just feeling kind of more in a flow state as when you're working with clients, a little more present and aware and sharp. Would that be a good way to describe it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely, it does work. If you can, you know, you point it at your feet or wherever, you know, for kidney points. I mean, Ricky B, he knows he's an acupuncturist. He knows these points. So anyway.
Cool. Well, very cool. Thank you so much for sharing, especially from the practitioner standpoint. That's always helpful.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I'll share mine really quick. You know, I've been in the natural healthcare field for 26 years. At 52, I really can't say I wouldn't have said I had any inflammation. So I've noticed some very interesting things with the product. One, I had some dental issues, and so I spent a lot of time doing it in this area. And like the next day or two later, I had the just major canker sores as my body was like getting rid of stuff. And I'm like, and I had felt a little swollen lymph before I did that, and that seemed to shift. I'm actually using it on my eyes closed, and my eyes feel a lot less tired. And the other thing I've noticed is I used it around my chest and neck quite a bit, and over my lungs. And it just felt like all of a sudden I'm like I wouldn't have said I had problem breathing before, but all of a sudden like there's something different about breathing very smoothly and very deeply as a result. And today I spent about 2 minutes charging water in a glass, kind of mason jar, and drank it. And then I was doing some errands. And I'm like, ooh, I feel something. It feels like a kind of a tingly charging sensation after drinking the water. So that's kind of my brief story. But I'm like, this is definitely doing something. And I muscle test myself a lot as I'm doing it. My mind's like, oh, over here more and over there more. And anyways, loving it so far. Welcome, Bonnie. Tell us where you're from and briefly the impact this product has made on your life.
Hi, Steven. I'm Bonnie from Chicago, and I am with Steve Stuckey, the guy that just spoke a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
He brought this to me 2 or 3 nights ago, and I found it to be most interesting. I didn't care what it was. I'm like, I have a doctor's appointment Thursday morning for a pinched nerve in my shoulder. And he's like, are you kidding me with this? And I said, this is perfect timing. So I felt immediate relief. I've been off work for 2 weeks and I'm in outside sales. So like we make good money this time of year.
Yeah.
So
how long did he run it for? Was it just one session? How many minutes?
Yeah, that session was about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I really needed it all over, to be honest.
Yeah,
so I've got 2 sore knees and a shoulder that's been acting up. So I ran it, and for the first 10 days that I've been off work, I've been sleeping in the chair half the night after trying to toss and turn to talk myself into staying in bed. So I couldn't lay with my shoulder. It was killing me. So the first night I did this, I slept through the night. And then the next night I was like, okay, I'm going to my doctor in the morning. And so I told my doctor this morning, she's like, so what's going on with the pinched nerve? I go, I think it's kind of healed. She's like, what? I said, well, I came in anyway, just to tell you that. Yeah. But she's like, what are you talking about? I said, oh, I did some therapy on it. And so she
like
just
a magic wand. She's like, okay, whatever.
Right. And I didn't say too much. Yeah. So I'm going to use it on my knees. I've got some knee surgery coming up. So I'm really trying to use it on my knees. I haven't seen any results with my knees yet, but my shoulder, the pinch is gone. I couldn't even lift it very high. How many inches? Couldn't lift it a few inches. And now like oh my God, look, I'm darn near full motion. Like it hurts a little, but I literally couldn't even lift it 3 days ago.
Wow. Because that frozen shoulder thing, it like ruins people's lives. Like crazy stuff. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. That's a great story. Love it.
Thank you. You're doing a great job. Thank you.
All right. Awesome. Who's next? Going once. Going twice. You can unmute yourself and say, hey, I'd like to share something. No?
Hey, I have a question if I can jump in real quick. The first gentleman that spoke about high blood pressure, he said the first day was 10 to 12 points. The second day, after 20 minutes again, was 15 points. Can he clarify, was that compounding or was that after he did it each time?
I'll ask him to unmute here and see if he can answer that. He may have stepped away from his computer. John. Nope. Maybe we'll get him later to answer that.
Hello there.
John.
Hi.
Hey, 1 second, Wendy. John, can you answer her question real quick?
Yeah. So it dropped 12 points on my systolic and the diastolic also. But the next day it had gone up, but not as high. And then it went down another 15 points. So I've been watching it, and it's progressively getting lower and sustaining.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, and I think Wendy, were you going to share?
Yes, sir. Hello. How are you?
Okay, let me hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Actually, we have been recording, so go for it.
Hi there. So I'm going to share on behalf of my family that I've been using it with. I began the device. I was using it on my mother, who is 85, and she came to visit me for 4 days. She came with swollen feet, left being much more than the right. Came with a nodule, swollen tonsil, a nodule the size of an almond. And she came during the afternoon, so I used the device that evening. And
for how long?
I used it, well, she's elderly. I wasn't really sure. She was, I used it on myself just briefly because I just received it. So I didn't really have much experience and I just wanted to go easy. So I just did the basic technique, and I guess overall it was like 1.5 minutes to 2, not even 2 minutes on each extremity, and like whatever the areas were. So whatever that totals to be. And then she does have other conditions, but I didn't want to focus on them yet because I just wanted to go slow. Yeah. So she went to sleep. Next morning, wakes up. Because we did the feet, she does have a lot of spider veins and severe varicose veins around the ankle area, all up the extremities, lower extremities. But I didn't focus on those. Next day, we look at her feet and we're like, do they look lighter? Do they look lighter?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know. So I took pictures, but it was late. So I didn't compare and I couldn't really tell with the photos. So I just kept going. I did check her neck. She's like, she immediately touched her neck. And then she goes, this is less. So I felt for it. And it was like 80% less. And so this was about 12 hours from that session. So then I kept using it. Like I said, I had a few days and I was addressing some conditions that we were hoping to get results that are not going to be there anymore.
Yeah.
So I focused on her kidney areas. I focused on everything. I started increasing my time. I would say basically it was like, I was doing like 25 to 30 minutes on her. I was only doing 1 a day. By the 3rd day, I was trying to do a little bit more. So I did a little less in the morning and much more in the evening. What I really overall, I just want to say, I've been using the other amazing device, which I love and appreciate. I feel that this device, the other quantum device that you all were referring to, I feel that this device really gives people that don't really have a lot of time, don't have patience to spend on themselves, elderly that don't really understand a lot of technology, people that just don't really want to know more about what's going on and why.
You mean you don't like telling your elderly parents how to use that other device?
Well, my mother uses it. My mother does use it. And that took a little bit.
My parents, like, it's a nightmare. I'm like, okay, no, I'm not explaining it to you. How do you do that again,
It was in person and it took quite a bit of effort, and she used it and she loved it. But the point that I wanted to make was she received this treatment on such a deep level, so much more than she would allow the other treatment to really permeate her being. There was still some kind of resistance, or I could see that she loved it, and she was getting a lot of creating a lot of attachment with her device. Like she didn't want to let it go, and I love it. But still, she would go into these, like, it wasn't doing enough if she didn't use it. This device, I can't tell you long term, but in the time that I used it, her receiving was unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life with my mother.
Awesome.
And that was deep, but really quick, the nodule went down. Her varicose veins were changing by the 4th day. She was receiving deeply, and her abdomen, she was having a lot of detoxing. So I really look forward to see what else happens. My other daughter, I worked on her lungs. She was having asthma. She was having deep detoxing. She had puffiness in her eyes and a lot of mucus coming out. She felt stronger in the environment that she was having a lot of triggers with, just from one treatment. And my other daughter, who lives with autism, who is very receptive to quantum devices, she really enjoyed this. And I noticed just with a few moments, even though the blower, I had to do the blower low. So that's a thing. I'm not sure if everybody will be receptive to that, that have sensory issues, but she definitely received it and started to give me her extremities more willingly. So that says a lot. So thank you so much.
I've got a friend, I just keep on thinking about him, who has long-term asthma. I'm like, gotta talk to him. So it's interesting that you say that one of your children really benefited from that, even just really quickly. So thank you so much. That's awesome. Love hearing that from people, and amazing. It's like my parents keep on calling. They bought one, but keep on calling. They're like, we haven't used it yet. I'm like, goodness, am I gonna have to fly down there and use this on you? I mean, come on, get with the program here. So awesome. So we've got Webca, who's driving, who wanted to share briefly her results at the moment. Go for it. Can you hear me?
Cannot move, and I had a week with a lot of physical activity, and I came home and the spot hurt so bad I couldn't bend over. I used it for 4 minutes and the pain went away.
Awesome. Love it.
Totally blew my mind.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, last
So
week.
we've got Patty. Where are you from, Patty?
Arizona.
Arizona. Maybe you can walk over to my parents' house and tell them they start using their device.
Yeah, well, that's possible. I'm a nurse and I do a lot of that kind of thing.
Very
Anyway,
cool.
I borrowed my unit from the clinic that just had gotten theirs last Tuesday, and I've been using it for 4 days.
Yeah.
Damaged muscle, deltoid muscle repair, pain relief in joints from Arthur, you know who he is, okay?
Yeah.
And I had a bad injury. I had a bad horse accident in 2002. Lots of back pain, swollen discs. Also had a broken leg and ankle in nursing school, and get up at night and can hardly walk because there are adhesions or whatever, and there was swelling ever since surgery. They had to take the metal out. And I have had relief in all these places. And one major thing that nearly knocked me off my chair, and this is very personal, but I have to share it so people understand it. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I don't know how many of you know what fibrocystic breast disease is, but there are cysts that occur in a breast, and they can become cancerous down the road or not, depending on how you're feeding yourself. Caffeine always irritates those things, but I did an exam on Friday morning, and I'd only used it since Tuesday, a couple times a day, and maybe not even 2 minutes, just everywhere.
Sure.
And they were gone.
Wow.
They were freaking gone.
That freaked you out, huh?
Knocked me out of my ballpark, I'll tell you, because I've never seen that happen before.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing. You sound part stunt woman a bit, Like my mom has, she also fell off her horse, broke like 7 ribs in her collarbone. And anyways,
yeah,
I look forward to having her here.
And all my patients that I have tried this on, 2 of them felt some kind of an energy shift in their body, and everybody went out of the house with a reduced pain or without pain.
Awesome. And on average, how long were those sessions taking?
Maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Wow. That's some nice return on investment.
And that covered back pain and probable lymphatic drainage problem with one person, and shoulder and back pain with another person.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Patty. We really appreciate that. It's amazing story.
Thank you.
All right, we've got Chris calling in on the phone. Chris, where are you calling from?
I'm here in Southeast Ohio.
Yeah.
I can't use the internet, but I can use the phone for this stuff.
Awesome. Go for it.
So Stan hooked us up with this device, and we've been using it a little bit. And I would say I'll make a testimonial for my 70-year-old wife, because things work on her much easier than me. But after just one treatment on her back and stuff, where she was having lots of pain, it was almost gone.
Wow.
I used it all over her, from the top of her head to her feet, and inside of her mouth and upper nostrils because she's been having trouble with coughing and stuff, and she is substantially better. And I left the device with her so that she could use it more on herself. She used it on her two unhappy normie kids that are in their 40s.
Yeah.
But she was excited because she read someplace where she saw that using that blue light wand would absolutely neutralize vaccines.
Oh, interesting. That's a big concern lately for people.
Yeah, right. And we know that they've been heavily vaxxed and jabbed.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So she's working them over with and not telling them what's going on.
Kind of being sneaky. Hey, hold still. I love it. Awesome.
I mean, they get horse paste, and stuff, all kinds of stuff that, that they would never take. But
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Love the story. I appreciate it. Thank you.
The other part is after she used it on them today, they were actually happy.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Just seeing a mood shift in them, huh? Love it.
Right. But they were actually almost giddy happy.
Nice. Very nice.
That's worth it.
Well, very cool. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All righty, we've got Rob calling in from his car. Whereabouts are you, Rob?
I'm in Chicago in a blizzard.
In a blizzard. Sounds like half the country's in the blizzard in Chicago here. Cool. Well, share what's going on with you, Rob.
Yeah, I've got some of my friends on the call.
Awesome.
Steve, and I think Linda's on here, and I think Kit Kat's on here.
Awesome. Well, what's going on with your personal results, Rob?
So I've used the device about 3 times.
Yeah.
And what that nice lady said about asthma, I can identify with.
Ooh. Because
I've noticed my eyes are really puffy, and it just dawned on me after she gave her testimony. And you hear my voice? I'm having some laryngitis, and I'm coughing up a lot of sputum. I have severe asthma, and I've used the blower in my face area, like you said, and that explains it. And because I have a sinus infection now, I haven't been able to smell in 2 months. So every once in a while now, it's coming back, I can smell again. And I don't know if you guys have ever been through that, but it's terrible. Can't taste food, can't smell anything. It's just really bad. So I'm noticing now that it's starting to come back. So the great news is toxins are being expelled from my body, and I'm sure we have to be careful and not overdo it, because if those are the symptoms. I'm a naturopath. I'm not practicing, but that's the sign of detoxification.
Yeah.
Those symptoms. And so
I've definitely had some of the symptoms myself. I'm like, ooh, something's happening.
Yep.
I
and
like
my
it.
eyes too. I did what you did too, close your eyes, and because it penetrates 11 inches, right? So
yeah,
your eyelids are tiny, real thin.
Perfect.
So I'm excited. Obviously, I'm going to get back tonight and use it again. And what do you suggest? 30 minutes? Is that maximum or at a time?
I'm not the expert, so go for it.
You don't have to be an expert. I don't think that you can use it too much. Probably no more than 2 hours at a sitting, but who knows?
Yeah. Probably the more issues people have, they probably need to ease into it. So awesome, Rob. Well, thank you so much for calling in.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for calling in and sharing.
You bet.
So I've got Rita on the line, and from Florida, and you've been in all sorts of nasty accidents, and in 4 days, what's going on with you?
Well, basically, I do have hip bone connected to the neck bone. I broke my neck in a car accident, and so that does happen. And as well as I took a real bad fall and injured my hip and my shoulder years ago. I mean, a real bad fall to the point where I've had hip replacement surgery, and my arm was really sore. So last week I was at the doctor's discussing what we're going to do with my shoulder. Was planning on having surgery, but now with this device, I've been able to relieve the discomfort. I mean, I couldn't sleep at night, so that's been just a wonderful thing.
Awesome.
In addition, it's also taking sunspots away, and some precancerous spots that I had on my nose are starting to like peel. So and that's 4 days again, just 4 days. So
that's amazing. Love it.
Yeah, I will be using it also because from my research I did, it's supposed to help with cholesterol, and everybody in my family has that. And so that application is on the bottom of your feet to stimulate the blood. So I'll let you guys know in April what the results are from the doctor.
We'd love to hear that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Great job.
Okay. You're welcome. My pleasure.
Perfect. So bringing up the end, we've got Moshi. Are you also in Chicago, also in a snowstorm? Seems to be the general theme today.
I got my Bears. This is my Chicago Bears scarf.
Love it.
So, Jesus Soriano from Chicago. They call me Moshi because I speak Japanese. I lived in Japan, Korea, Hawaii before.
Awesome.
So, I barely got the blessing of trying the I'm gonna call it the happy stick, the magic wand.
Happy stick, the magic wand. I love it.
And you know, it was very fast, very light. But I'm into Chinese herbalistics. I'm into the health bench, and I'm into positive and negative ions, and you know what some people call the chakras in your body, the circulation part of your body, right? So you know, we have water, X amount of water in our body, and all of our cells move because of energy and you know, the power of the mitochondria. So I'm very familiar with the way this devices work. And there's some other devices out there, and this is what I'm trying to say, because I haven't tried it fully, and I'm dying to do this right now. I'm about to get my dogs out and my little slate, and then just go, woof, woof, let's go get him. You know, an hour from here, because the cars won't go nowhere with the snow. But what I'm saying, guys, is that this is something huge. This is something big for humanity.
Yeah.
There's other companies out there. They came out with kind of devices like this, which are like $4,500. You know, $15,000.
Yeah.
So and it Hollywood status, and they work because the body needs to be on constant movement when it comes to blood flow.
Yeah.
So this device works, in my opinion, because I did see other people and I heard everything I'm hearing right now.
Yeah.
But my whole point is, I believe that we are number one in front of a big wave of helping hundreds of thousands of people around the world with their health. Number one, that's my opinion. And number two, by doing that, we're going to be able to help hundreds of thousands of people around the world to put some food on their table in a massive way.
Awesome.
So
what about,
I'm excited.
Have you used the device yourself yet?
Very little. I was working out, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning with Steve Stuckey and Robert, and another lovely lady that I forgot her name right now. She just
awesome. Come back in a week or two. I'm super excited to hear what it's actually done for you. That's awesome, and I agree with you. You know, if this device is really doing this, it's going to be quite extraordinary. So, anyways, we're like getting pretty long here.
Thank you very much.
So I appreciate you sharing, and really look forward to what it's doing for you in the future. So anyways, thank you for coming. Maybe we'll try and do this more regularly. I love doing stuff like this, and on Zoom we can all get together and share stories, because I love stories. Anyway, so that's why I organized this. Anyways, appreciate you all. I'll post this in the Telegram group and probably a few other places. Probably post it to YouTube as well, so everyone can share this. So I appreciate you all. Have an awesome night.